Well, it's Wednesday, so it must be another We Wonder. I'm Chris Pfluger. I'm your Chief Development Officer here at We Insure, and I'm very, very excited to talk today a little bit about two things. One, we've hit a whole bunch of milestones at We Insure. Today is one of the most important days in the company. You guessed it, it's my anniversary day. I joined exactly 2 years ago. So normally we shut down the entire company for this, but today we're going to work through it. But more importantly, it's also myself, Pete, and the days we kind of got together and said, hey, we have a 5-year plan and we want to go not just from the state of Florida, which is our home, base state. We want to grow nationally. So the good news is we're in over 26 states now. We have a multitude of different type of owners and offices out there. So, We Insure is that fantastic platform for the owner who really is looking to grow their business, have a full support team behind them, and kind of work with a net, right? They want to grow as large as humanly possible, but still leverage our back end office and systems and make sure that they can do that growth and focus just on sales. So the good news is that's been working remarkably well. Apparently it was a secret before, but now the secret's out. So, but there is no way for us to do that without incredible carrier partners, right? So today we're here with TypTap, and they are a Tampa-based company with national aspirations. So we're going to get into a lot of exactly what TypTap does, what they cover, who they work with, primarily with we, but with other folks as well, and what kind of risks they work with, and they have a special announcement at the end. So stay tuned as we get to that. So we have Jody Kelly and Ed. If I could say your last name, I would do that for you, but I'm not going to give that a shot right this second. So we have Ed and Jody joining us, and it's like my name. Come on, man. You know how it is. So actually, Jody, you're in Jacksonville, Florida, and Ed, you're in Naples. And
That's right,
Jody,
Chris.
right? And so you handle kind of the Florida relationships, and you're based out of Tampa. The main company is based out of Tampa, and then Ed, you handle all the national expansion piece.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys kick off a little bit and tell us a little bit about TypTap, what you do, and why it's so fantastic.
Ed, I think he queued it right up for you talking about growth at We. Why don't you kick it off with some national growth for us?
Sure. I'd be happy to do that. Thanks for the introduction, Chris. As you mentioned, TypTap's in the midst of a national expansion. We're very excited about that. It's a big step for the company to grow outside of Florida, and our expansion is really centered around several core principles. And it's the things we've done in Florida to be successful. We're trying to replicate those things outside of Florida in all the states that we're going into. The plan is to be in all 48 states in the next 2 years. And the expansion is really centered around our commitment to agents. That's one of our core principles. So our commitment to agents, agents are an extension of what we do at TypTap. We view them really as part of Team TypTap. We refer to Team TypTap often when we talk about our internal folks, but we also refer to our agents as being team members. We really feel strongly about them. Independent agents have a valuable role in the communities that they represent. They do a great job in advising and counseling policyholders. They serve also as our frontline underwriters. They play an active role in their communities, and we're proud to only sell insurance through our independent agency channel. And we also appreciate the strong relationship that we've built with We Insure over the years. So that's kind of the core foundational principles of what we're doing in the national expansion.
That's fantastic. And again, Jody, I'm going to ask you a question, but I have to tell people, you guys have the best name in insurance, right? We Insure, we think it's a fantastic, branding and logo, and it really tells the consumer what we do. But your name is fantastic. It's hard to forget. Once you get it down, you just can't get it out of your head, number one. And number two, you have one of the greatest logos, right? You're using the iconic, Florida bird, the flamingo. So again, burned into my memory at this point. So Jody, tell us a little bit about Florida.
Yeah, so before we jump into Florida, so most people don't know that the TYP comes from not your typical insurance company. So just a little trivia in there for you to help that mind sink as well. We are so happy with the Florida market. Some national carriers plan their expansion to exit the Florida market, and that is not the case for TypTap. We are very committed. The bulk of our employees are here in Florida. We have strategic growth happening all throughout the state. mainly below the I-4 corridor, starting Pinellas to Brevard. But we're excited to grow in the areas that work for us.
Fantastic. And so, I know Ed was talking a little bit about some of the states. I know we have 9 total states you're in right now, and I know there's plans for the future. Are there differences in the 2 areas as far as what type of risk you guys have an appetite for in those markets? So is it different in Florida than it might be in other states?
So I can tell you that in general, Chris,
Yep.
across the entire country, the risks that we're interested in that we find to be the best fit with TypTap are generally older homes, and it's middle market. So your average coverage A is anywhere from 200,000 to 500,000. We'll write higher than that, but that's really where the sweet spot is. And in general, it's homes that are a little bit older than the market average and well maintained. That really seems to be a good fit for us, kind of across the board in all the states that we do business in.
And the biggest thing is we try to make doing business with TypTap easy. We really focus on the ease of doing business for the agent. And if quoting with TypTap, we want you to just quote everything, all older homes, quote them with us and see if they're a fit.
That's fantastic.
And one more point on that, Chris. We mentioned the core principles around the national expansion. Another one of those core principles is something that we learned in Florida, and that's that agents want a fast and efficient quoting system. They want to be able to quote and bind business quickly. And that's kind of the future of the business. And that's where TypTap is at now. With TypTap, you can quote a policy in 30 seconds. You can issue an application in minutes. And the efficiency really helps agents spend less time quoting and more time selling. And that's really a pivotal part of our success.
That's a great point, because that's one of the number one things. Again, I'm not an expert on insurance, right? I didn't come from the industry for 20 years, but in all of my due diligence and talking to agents and talking to clients and being a client, I always have the same, response when people say insurance. When I ask for a quote, it takes days for someone to get back to me, and I can't. And I think you're absolutely correct, Ed. I think the future of this is people have, kind of that Amazon mentality. Well, I ordered it right now. It should be here this afternoon. Right? It shouldn't be, it's going to be 6 weeks and it'll be showing up. That's so 10 years ago, right? So today people are saying, hey, listen, I need to know kind of right now while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to move on. And so the speed and the efficiency associated with working with you guys has been tremendous.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. So I think it's one of the things we need to talk about, and I think it's important to do. And I'll start with you again, Ed, on this, is kind of the state of the market, right? So what goes behind some of those decisions to move into specific markets, number one, in specific states, and then others, kind of what's going on out there as far as risks go. Because Jody mentioned it in just a few seconds ago. Hey, other national carriers are pulling out of certain markets and doing certain things, and we're committed to Florida, which is music to everyone's ears, right? But the reality of it is, what's behind the decisions to get into some of those markets nationally?
Sure. The decision really revolves around our desire to be a national carrier, and to grow and expand our footprint outside of Florida, to diversify our book of business. And in regards to your questions about, what the state of the market is in, outside of the state of Florida, each one of the states we've gone into, we've learned that the market is unique. And that's really where we turn to our agents, because when we go to a new state, we look to learn from those agents to try to become a better partner for them, to make our product better, and also to make the experience better for the agents. And those early agents that we take on in a given state are incredibly helpful in helping us to put a better product forward for customers, and also to learn the specifics in regards to a specific market. So each and every state is unique. Out west, you've got some concerns with wildfires, hailstorms. In the Northeast, you've got the winter issues. So when we talk about a given market, every market is individual, and that's one of the most exciting things about my job, is I get to go in there and try to figure out all these pieces in all these different areas of the country.
Let me tell you, Ed, you said something right there. And since I've gotten into the insurance game, I can tell you, based on the conversations in different markets, I don't think it's safe to live anywhere in the world, because if you talk just about risk, you're right. You're like, holy cow, I didn't realize, even I'm here in Colorado this week, and I'm thinking, there's hailstorms, there's tornadoes. It depends on where you are. There's flooding. Let's be honest, there's flooding that occurs and you'd never think it, but it does with runoff in different areas for sure. So, it's just interesting to hear about, different risks in different market. And that was the point, right? Every market is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about the partnership, both with us and with you, is what you just said. Like, we partner with our agents in the field and we want to learn from them. It's not our way or the highway, and this is what we're putting out and use it or don't. We want to learn what would work for you to make it better for both sides. So it's a win-win. So that was a very good point.
Sure, and it's actually the exact opposite. It's not our way or the highway. We've already made adjustments in every state that we've gone into, whether it be to the product or to the experience that the agent has. So we're willing and we're ready to make pivots and adjustments as the market dictates.
That is fantastic. Well, that is a national scope, which is fantastic because everybody's curious how that works. But Jody, what do you think? Well, what is the state of the market in Florida?
I think that whenever we think we have the market figured out, a new rodeo comes along. So I think we always try to focus at Team TypTap on providing an excellent experience and being available when the time is right, when the market is right, and just doing that constant evaluation. Ed knows my word of the year. Ed?
Flexibility.
That's it. And I think as agents, they also have to be flexible. We want to be an available market. We don't want to be sending out bulletins every day with guideline changes. We want to be a carrier, you're familiar with our guidelines, a go-to market. But we just have to keep being flexible, adaptable, and looking forward into the future. Not for 1 year, not for 5 years, but for 10 years.
So I always spell flexible with a PF just because of my name,
Ooh.
but you guys can do it any way you want. That's
Thanks.
Great.
If I email you, I will have a PH. Don't worry.
Thanks. Thank you very much. That's how I spell Florida too, but people get confused, so I stopped. But this is great. So we heard the state of the market. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're very excited about the opportunities, but there's a special announcement. I know you have, Jody. And I'm going to, in case anybody's out there, it's too late, it's a spoiler alert. I actually had someone post a comment, which I saved because I didn't want to spoil it for you. So hit me up with the special announcement.
The special announcement is that we are going to open back up in the Tri-County effective 10/1. So 10/1 is the effective date, but you're going to be able to quote effective 9/7. So on 9/7, you can send out DocuSign, 10/1 effective date. The insured can sign DocuSign, policy bound. You can have premium loaded in on 10/1 and get it on your secure commission check later in the month. So we're ready. We're back open in Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade, and we are looking forward to see some exciting numbers coming out of Team We.
So I was just going to say, let's make sure we explain to everybody out there. So Tri-County, for anyone in Florida, is well known, right? So it's the Dade County where Miami is, it's Broward County where Fort Lauderdale is, and it's Palm Beach, where obviously Palm Beach is, right? So it's one of those things where those counties obviously have some challenges because of weather concerns and a lot of concerns down there. There's a lot more risk. And so this is truly a very special announcement because everyone is looking for more markets down there. If you talk to a lot of agents, unfortunately, a lot of agents that aren't with We Insure, they'll tell you there's only one carrier down there. It's the state carrier. And unfortunately, we're stuck with that. And I always think, have you not heard? There's other things going on. So this is great news.
It is exciting news, and we are happy. Anything that Team We needs, we will be there. So if you want to have a webinar with your staff and our underwriting team is a refresher, if you want your territory manager to talk to you about our niches so your team is quoting efficiently, we're happy to do that. Just have to reach out either through the We corporate office to myself, Ed. Our contact information is on the web. Contacts, you can find us right there. So.
Fantastic. Well, see, this is the power of We, right? We're bringing on, powerful guests. They're bringing special announcements to you. And again, hugely impactful information for anybody in that Tri-County area. So this is very, very exciting.
It is. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. It's, we've been kind of let's go ready for days. So we're all going to have a great Labor Day weekend. Come back 9/7, blow up the quotes.
That is awesome. Well, any last parting shots from you guys? Because I know you guys had a lot of information today.
We just thank you for your partnership. We thank We Insure. I've got a personal relationship with several We Insure agents in Southwest Florida. They're always a pleasure to work with, and it's a great organization.
I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate the relationship we have with you all. You guys have always been very supportive. From day one I walked in the door, I've seen, Jody at the office and working with us, even at our last office, not in our new headquarters. And so we really appreciate that as well. And again, you're bringing real value to our agents and more importantly, to all those families, in those multiple states that you service. So we appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today on another We Wonder.